All right, today's guest is a good brother that I've known probably more than half my life. Um, he is an insurance agent as well as a Gulf War veteran. Today's guest on the network is Mr. Freddie Noble. Freddie, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing well. Hey, here in Houston, Texas, who knows what the weather gonna be, but we're in Houston.
Yeah, the weather is a little. It's got a personality of its own. It kind of does what it won't when it won't. So I'm not complaining though. I'm not complaining. This rain to keep it cool, so I ain't tripping. I ain't tripping at all. All right, man, we're gonna jump right into this thing. Man, give us a little bit of your background. Tell us where you grew up, where's your hometown, just some little tidbits. Give us some background information
All
and
right,
tell us who Freddie Noble is.
no problem. I'm like I said, I started out in California. I moved to Louisiana when I was 9. When my mom and dad they decided to split up, so I moved to Louisiana. Ended up moving to a place called Gina. Now a lot of people they 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 may not recognize Gina, but they end up knowing Gina because they end up for the Gina Six. You
Yeah.
know, so that's my hometown. Graduated high school. Ended up going to Northwestern State. Walking on playing football. Everything was going great. Um, but in between that time, between the age of 17 and 18, I decided I was going to join the National Guard because I want to go to basic training. So, I just wanted to go to basic training. I just thought it was awesome. I went to basic training, went to Northwestern playing football, and then one day got a knock on the door and said, "Hey, man, you need to go to war." uh,
How old were you?
I was I had just when they knocked on the door, I was 19. Yeah, I was 19. I was 19. I just turned
Okay.
19. Yeah, I think I was 19. Oh, let me see,
So
19. That was 1990. So actually, I turned 20. See, I get the years mixed up. I just turned 20.
so when you get that knock on the door that you're going to war, what's the first thing that goes through your mind as a 20-year-old?
Because like I said, I was sitting in class. It was a state trooper actually knocked on the door and saying, "Hey, I need to come outside and talk to you." So you don't know what they really want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
You get pulled out of class, and he's like, "Hey, just got a call from your first sergeant. You need to resign from school. Your unit's been activated to go to war." And I
Wow.
was like, the first thing on your mind is, I think about the Vietnam War, think about all the people I saw and how they was going on. And basically, I'm like, I didn't really sign up to fight somebody war that I ain't got, that really, ain't my war. Because I was
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
overseas, it ain't like they attacked us.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So 20 years old, you end up going and fighting in the Gulf War. How long was your tour?
I was over there 9 months.
Okay. Okay. So you do your 9 months. Do you have any distinct memories
Oh, yeah.
of being there?
Oh, yeah. Very, it's like it was a good experience and a bad experience together because, you get to see a whole nother culture. So at 20 years old, your mind's getting a chance to shape. So when I first went over there, I'm like, I ain't messing with no Saudis. They cool. Y'all stay where y'all gonna stay with your dashiki. I'm gonna stay where I am. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But when you over there so long, you kind of just, your guard go down a little bit. You get to know them as people. So that's the good experience about it. The bad experience is that I went from a unit from Gina, so I'm dealing with a lot of racism inside my unit. Okay, it
Yeah.
is. Uh, I'm dealing with we're getting scud attacks every night, and I'm on a 24-hour mission. So every night I got to drive on a highway that you don't know is going to be attacked. And so, you hear things go off. You got to put your gear on because you don't know if it's a chemical attack. And so you do that for about 4 or 5 months. Constantly, your sleep patterns are messed up. And when you
Yeah.
on I was an 18 wheeler. I hauled an 18 wheeler. So I had what they call a central product, which was water. I had to go pick water up and go deliver it to a base. And that's it was a 3 hour one way trip. So you like be sleeping 2 o'clock in the morning, somebody knock on your door, tap you on your thing, and say, "Hey man, it's your turn to drive." You gotta wake up because that truck gotta stay moving 24 hours.
Oh wow. Wow. That's interesting, man. That's interesting. So you get back stateside. how easy was it or difficult was it for you to transition back into civilian life?
It was real difficult. What I skipped was when I went to Northwestern playing football. I kind of skipped the part was I kind of did a little too much, and I ended up making two daughters. Okay, I got two daughters that were born while I was at Northwestern. So
Okay.
they were born when I was gone. Well, one was born right before I left, and one was born while I was gone. And this ain't the same technology that we have now. You got to actually write a letter. Ain't no internet. Hopefully you get a picture. You know. So when I got back, it was a hard adjustment. I went through a lot. Went through depression real bad. I mean, I went through severe depression. Um, I wasn't in school anymore, and I don't know how much, but the thing is, when you high school, I was a high school athlete. I mean, basically a high
Hmm.
school star. So the best thing about when you're a star is, you kind of get passed along in life. You don't
Yeah.
experience what everybody else experiences. You know,
Yeah.
uh, you know, I just didn't experience what a lot of other black folks may experience. However, when I got back and I wasn't playing sports no more, I started experiencing what all, everybody else was experiencing. I had a hard time getting a job when I got back. I mean, I couldn't get a job anywhere. I couldn't get in school right away because I got back too late, so I missed the deadline to get in school because I had to sit out
Hmm.
another semester. Of course, I got two kids, so I got that stress going on. Um, I had some other issues that happened with my family. So when I got back, unfortunately, my family had spent all my money too.
Oh wow.
uh,
Wow.
and so, along with and like I said, along because when I was everybody that came back, they left us over there. It's like maybe about 30 of us they left over there for the long term, for a longer term. So when I got back with the vehicles, you dealing with a lot. And now I'm still only 20, but I just been experienced. I mean, I experienced death over there. I mean,
Yeah.
I experienced having prisoners of war. So you experience so much, and you're trying to still figure who you out, who you are yourself, but you're going through so much. And now you're dealing with realities of life.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. So we're at age 20.
Correct.
Now we Gulf War veteran at the age of 20. You come back home. Um, you mentioned, some difficulties with your family, but if we can back up just a little bit in your questionnaire, you mentioned that you lost your mom when you were 14.
Correct.
So, um, what was that like, losing your mom at 14 and then ending up as a war veteran at the age of 20? What are those 6 years like?
Okay, those 6 years are pretty rough. My mom had bought a house when I was 13, so she had just bought her first house. We were excited. I got. At that time, I had three siblings: an older sister, older brother, and a younger brother. Okay. Um, she had just had my youngest brother November the 14th of 1984, and she died December 15th, 1984. And
Wow.
I'm the last one to see her alive because I was at the house with her, and so I kind of experience everything. So what happens is you're 14 and you can't really process the five stages of grief. They really are grief. So I go into a very much angry stage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really
Mm-hmm.
and this is 85. Ain't nobody really talking to you how to deal with your emotions. Basically you suck it up and
Right.
move on. So then my sister and her husband, they end up moving my mom's house. Her husband probably, I think my sister's 21 at the time. So I'm 14, she's 21. Her husband about 23, 24. They got two kids. She had her own life going on. But she take myself in, she take my younger brother in that was 5. He turned 5 after that. And then eventually she take my youngest brother in, who's no, she take him in when he's about 4 or 5 months in. So now she's a 21-year-old, basically with five kids. And unfortunately, her husband worked offshore. He lost his job. He ended up getting a substance abuse problem. So not only I'm seeing domestic abuse in the household, but I'm probably the most stable one to try to keep everything together. So you got CPS trying to get the kids. I'm going through
Yeah.
school. It was a lot of stuff. A lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot. If you could go back in time and give advice to 14, 15, 16-year-old Freddie, knowing everything that you now know now, what advice would you give him?
I would tell him that everything he's feeling is okay. It's
Why
okay to
why would you say that?
it's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to deny all that stuff. You know, those things are okay. You know, but when you're young and you don't really have outlets, you start thinking they're not okay.
Yeah,
And the main thing is, if you get anger too long, you start becoming self-destructive. You just start doing things because you really don't care. So I would tell young Fred at 14 years old, um, embrace the emotions and learn to love yourself still, because
it's good.
the
It's good.
race is only complete when you give up in the race. When you give up in the race, then it's no longer a race. But as long as you continue to progress and move forward, but at the same time, I could talk about that time, but also I could tell you that I learned to trust my decisions at a young age because I walked a very slim tightrope. I make a mistake, I felt that mistake right away. It
That's
was no
good.
doubt about it.
That's
So when
good.
you start understanding that you don't have much room to make mistakes, you learn to trust your decisions. So that's kind of how things run out on that.
Okay. Okay. So you're back from the Gulf War. You do get back into school
Yep,
eventually, right?
I ended up transferring to Northeast University of Louisiana Monroe. I transferred there,
Okay. Okay. Well, what's your degree in?
sociology.
Sociology. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So you leave Northeast. So today, you are an insurance agent.
correct.
So kind of weave your journey. Let's kind of take
Okay,
what we've talked about so far and then tell us how you ended up being Freddie from State Farm.
okay. Well, this is the funniest thing. When I transferred to Northeast, I changed my major 3 times. I was gonna be a nursing major. I was gonna be something else. But what I realized was I wasn't good in science and I didn't like blood. So
Okay.
those two things kind of don't go well together. But I was
Right.
good in
Right.
history. I was good in studying folks. That's how sociology is, just studying a group of people. And I
Right.
love people. And I'm like, well, I was gonna be a counselor. With my background, everything I've been through, I'm like, man, I'd be a pretty good counselor. Until I found out what they pay with a master's degree.
Right. Right.
Because I had a real good fraternity brother. He had a master's degree, and he showed me what he was making. And I'm like, so hold on, I got to go to school 3 more years, get more debt just to make that. Nah,
Pass.
nah, I can find
That's an
something else. And so that
easy
same that
pass.
same friend, he told me the State Farm had intern program for minorities. Man, I didn't want to do that because I didn't know anything about insurance. Zero. Didn't care about it. However, they was paying a lot of money for the summer. Remember, I told you I had 2 kids. They got to
Right.
eat.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
I go through there and I interview about 5 or 6 times. I'm like, man, these folks crazy. They don't want me. In the last interview, I didn't care. I really showed up and I didn't care what I was saying in the interview. They ended up picking me. And I'm like, oh, okay. But when they picked me, it was another like, so all the other interns, they mostly either white women, black women. Ain't never one black male, but besides me, they picked me. I'm like, cool. Everybody else wearing a suit to work. They put me in the mailroom. I'm like, hold on. So I'm an intern. You say you want me professional development, but you put me in the mailroom. So I kind of felt a little bad. I ain't like them either. I still didn't like State Farm like that. To this day, I still struggle with that. Play. But so I was in the mailroom and didn't like it, but they were still paying me the same money they were paying people wearing suits. But
Okay.
I want to feel good. I want to wear my suit, look good. But I went over there and they liked my work ethic. Now, one thing I was told in life, don't matter what you do, just try to work hard at it. You work hard at it, don't matter. So they like my work ethic and they say, hey, I know you got another year in school. Do you want to stay on working in the mailroom? And I'm like, okay, I don't have to work weekends. And y'all gonna pay me this kind of money right here? And I can set my own schedule? good. I'm with you now,
Cool.
State Farm. I'm with Team
Yeah,
State Farm
we can
then,
do
okay?
that. Yeah, we can do
So
that.
I stayed on for another year, and actually it was funny because, as you know, I'm in the Mega Psi Phi fraternity, uh, and so I'm staying with the bros. I'm making money, and we living a good life as far as we concerned. I mean,
Yeah.
all the bills paid, kids taken care of, and then the State Farm said, "Hey man, I thought you were supposed to graduate." I was like, "Yeah, but I kind of pushed that off," and
Yeah.
so I was like, "Oh man, I guess they really want me to graduate." So I graduated, and then once again, State Farm being State Farm, I'm thinking once I graduate, they're gonna move me into a professional job. I got a degree.
Hmm.
Nah, they left me in that same job for 6 months. So then I became angry Freddie at State Farm.
Okay. Okay.
But I still worked hard. I smiled and I shuck and juck. But once I walked out that door, I was probably talking nonsense about them folks, telling folks, man, they kick rocks.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you go from angry Freddie to agent Freddie?
Well, there, well, I told you, there's racism in America. And them same people are racist, they got jobs. So I'm in the department that they got one black supervisor. He decides to interview and get another job. That means they probably need to hire another black supervisor to keep their quota, okay? So you
Right.
can hire
Right.
somebody from the outside that you don't know, or you can hire somebody that you kind of feel that you know that's a safe bet. So they hired me. So I
Okay.
became a
Okay.
supervisor. And one thing about it is that I've never been afraid of hard work. So I worked hard. I read a lot. So whatever manuals I read, everything. So the joke was, if they had a question about something, it was about 13 different departments in one big department. Ask Freddie. He'll know because he read every manual. And I'm like, yeah, I did read all the manuals, okay?
Yeah.
So if you sitting there at work and they got you in a training program and they tell you to read a book, I mean, we didn't have this. Ain't no, you got your iPhone. You don't have nothing but the book to look in front of
Right. Right.
you.
Right. Right.
You could sit there and scribble, scrab, or you can read. I just decided to read because I like to know a little bit. So I ended up doing that. I'm gonna make this real quick. So I do that job, and then I realized I was walking around, I smelled good, looked good, but I wasn't making the money that I wanted to make. Got promoted. They wanted me to go to corporate, and but there was another job called claims, but it was like catastrophe claim. I mean, you
Hmm.
travel around the country, they give you a car, and when you work, you work. When you was off, you off. And I said, man, I want to go do that. So actually, I took I left supervisor and went back to another role. I actually went backwards, but they were still paying me the same money. I was making more money, but I went backwards as far as titles.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so I did that job, and I did that job knowing that I was going to be an agent. I just wanted to pay some debt off.
Okay. Okay.
Did that job for 7 years, but the best thing about that job was I travel around the country. Now, I'm gonna jump in and tell you something real funny. It ain't funny, but just make it to wrap it up. So one day, when I'm a supervisor, I'm walking around the office. I got my chest out. You can't tell me nothing. And there's a guy that hired me. His name is Kevin. He's an older white guy. I mean, he really wasn't older, but he walked up to me and said, "Hey, friends, hey." He said, "Hey, I just want to let you know when I interviewed you 5 years ago, you was not my best candidate." And I'm like, "What?" So I'm saying, "So what you trying to tell me?" He's like, "So, I just want you to know you were not there were better candidates than you. I selected you because I felt the opportunity might be best for you." So I'm like, man, you just slapped me in my face, you know? And I kind of felt some little way about that. I'm looking at him kind of side eyed, like, okay,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
especially my background, I don't need no handouts from no one. So, I ain't need that.
Right.
And so I keep that in mind, but, that's just something. But so this same guy, Kevin, that I just told you about, he now is a big agency manager. And I'm ready to be an agent. So I emailed him, say, "Hey, Kevin, I want to be an agent." He said, "Okay." He made a couple phone calls. I did some interviews. I became an agent. And
That's
me and
what's
him had
up.
a real good conversation. He said, "Hey, we were on an agency trip. I went trip, State Farm, we were somewhere." And me and him had a real good conversation. He said, "Hey, I want to recap that conversation we had." I said, "Okay." Now, this is like 10 years later. He
Uh huh.
said, "My family was a doctor. I wasn't like everybody from Monroe. I understood that the racism of Monroe, and I understand that Sometimes people just need opportunity to shine. So when I said I selected you, I was really giving you the opportunity. I believed in you, and I knew you were doing. You ain't never disappoint me that way. So I think
That's
so
awesome.
it's real good, funny to tell you one part of the story, if I didn't tell you that part of the story. And I still communicate with him. So basically, he greenlighted a lot of stuff.
That's good. That's good stuff. I tell you what, man. Let's talk a little bit about insurance.
Okay,
What is the number one thing that people have no idea about when it comes to insurance?
all of it. Uh, but
All of
when you say insurance, there's just so many different parts of it. Most people are intimidated by it, and they're intimidated by it
okay,
because they don't have someone they can relate to.
okay,
As an agent, I just want to be relatable. I ain't using no fancy words. I mean, I can use all the terminology, but that ain't what's going to relate to you. I want to make it
right,
simple that you understand, so that at the end of the day, you're paying for a product that's based off a promise, and I want you to understand how to use that promise. Okay,
okay. Say that again. Say that again. We're paying for a product.
that's
Say
based
that
off a
part again.
promise, and I just
Okay,
want you to know how to use that promise.
okay, okay.
Because once again, I tell you, there's a lot of people who are working in these industries that they're not really trying to help people out like us. And we get a little nervous when we start asking us questions, and we just don't want to mess anything up. So we really don't do well. So when I was a claim adjuster, that's what made me become an agent. I'm out there, and they used to always put me in the hood. I mean, I worked at Hampton, Virginia. I worked in where Michael Vick from. I worked at Newport News. I worked at all
Uh
these
huh.
hood, New Orleans, and they always St. Louis. They put me in the hood. Okay, so I'm adjusting the hood. And what I
Yeah.
realized is when I'm talking to folks, they need someone they can relate to.
Uh huh.
They need someone that they can say, and they can feel comfortable saying, "Hey, yeah." And you find out most people were very very honest. They was just nervous, and
Yeah.
so I was like, okay. And then what I realized was those people, when I had to tell someone no, say no, that wasn't covered. That was probably because then they didn't have a relationship with their agents.
And they probably didn't know that they
Yeah,
didn't have coverage.
correct. In
Okay.
my philosophy, I believe most people are smart if you give them all the information. The problem
Okay.
is most people make a
Okay.
decision without all the information.
Okay. 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 So let me hit this. So I'm looking at your questionnaire. Um, and you say, you've seen what not having life insurance can do to a family, especially a young family. And sometimes in minority communities, we put too much emphasis on the burial policy, but all that does is help you bury somebody. So what would you recommend?
Make it real quick. My mom died in '84. We bought the house in '83. We all young. She had a policy at work. We put it in the ground. It was a decent funeral. That same house we lost in 1990. Okay, so my mom' biggest possession, and one of her proudest things beside her kids, we could
Mm-hmm.
as a family could hold it because she had life insurance, but she had insurance from the guy that knocked on the door too. She paid a little money, and all it does is what $5,000 to $10,000. That's nothing to take the family forward. Okay. Now there's a lot of different conversations about what type of life insurance. And, I actually I've had what's this is June. I've had 4 death claims this year from people I wrote up, and no one during the death claim, no one has ever asked me what type of policy. They always ask me how much. Okay. So I tell
Which
everybody,
question is more important?
huh?
Which question is more important? How much or what type? Or do they work hand in hand?
They work hand in hand. But the thing is,
Okay.
have something on you. Okay? You have something beside $10,000. Now the joke is, I got Mike, I'm divorced, and so my ex-wife, I got a lot big life insurance policy. I mean, everybody say why? I said because she got my youngest daughter, and at the end of the day,
Yeah.
if something happened to me, I want them to be taken care of. And my joke is, I talk to all men. I talk to men like a man. I say, hey man, let me tell you something right now. If you go right now and y'all got a double income, she's gonna have to find another man fast because she's used to living on a double income. Okay?
Yeah.
She may not be ready to find a man, but guess what? If she doesn't really find another income, it's gonna hurt her life. Now, if you get a good life policy on you, not only you give her proper time to mourn, she may not want another man. But if she does get another man, there's gonna be a big picture of you probably right there and say, you need to thank him for making everything better for us. And that's where I
Yeah,
live right now.
that's crucial. That's crucial. Especially, I want to point out the the time to mourn. So give your family time to mourn without having to worry about how is this going to get paid or how is that going to get paid or losing the house or losing a vehicle.
You're
That's
100%
important.
right. And that's actually what when you don't get proper time to mourn, then you basically you make it it's a wound that never got a chance to heal. And you know that can and I know that from like I say coming from my mom, so I can understand the importance of trying to heal. And
Yeah.
sometimes you have enough life insurance, you may need to take a year off. You may take a year off just say, I'm just want to concentrate on the kids, concentrate on that. But if you didn't make a big enough life policy, you can't do that. You buried somebody on Saturday and Monday, you gotta go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah. So just for informational purposes, let's say I need about approximately how much life insurance do I need to have in case I fall over dead tomorrow, percentage wise.
Percentage wise, it's not complicated, but it is complicated. Now, what I tell everybody, if you have to start off with an easy policy, 100,000. My first policy was 100,000. Okay, it was a
Hmm.
little term policy. I was paying about $15 a month, and I got it for 20 years. And I was so proud because I'm like, hey, they're gonna get $100,000. Okay, something happened to
Yeah.
me, that was a lot of money then.
Right.
Now, my life policy is a lot more because I have more responsibilities, and there's a different vision I want for my kids. So the answer to your question is vision what you want for your family 5 to 10 years from now, and maybe $200,000 to do that, maybe 500, maybe a million. All those things play into mind, you know. And right now, you're still in your high earning years. So maybe you just say, hey, I need just 500,000 right now. But in 20 years, I'm not gonna need that. So I'm gonna get a policy just to cover me for 20 years right now. That's the years I'm the most worried about. But after
Okay.
that, you know, you have other options. But the key is when you buy life insurance, especially like through a company like mine, you can start off with like a term policy and you can convert it to another policy later with no more underwriting because your health can change
Okay.
as you get older.
Okay. Okay. So I usually try to do this at the beginning of episodes. But if y'all are listening or watching and you need a quality insurance agent, tell us where we can find you.
Well, my name is Freddie Noble. You can find me. My telephone number is 281-679-6488. I write in all of Texas and all of Louisiana. Um, my of course you can reach me on Instagram, everything. That's 4A Noble Agent. That's a number 4, the letter A, last name Noble, Noble agent, agent.com. You can reach me anyway. I actually respond. I have an awesome team. It's not just me. I'm just the one that talk nonsense mostly, okay? The team is who really are the important ones. But the key is
You
if you
know
need to
what?
reach me, leave me a message. Anybody knows me, I answer my phone. I do call back, I text back. Because my goal is, even if you don't choose me as an agent, I want you to have education. You know, sometimes I'm not the best fit for you, but I want you to have a resource that you can come to. And that resource is just as important as the policy.
That's good. That's good. True servant. True servant's heart right there. True heart of a servant. All right. So I'm gonna jump into the next thing. What, if anything, keeps Freddie Noble up at night?
It's typically my daughters, the well-being of my daughters. They're three beautiful young black ladies. Two of them are grown, one is young, and I worry about the welfare of them. I worry about the climate we in right now. I worry about am I leaving the world a better place for them? Because it's been a good. My generation haven't enjoyed it. I just want to make sure their generation is able to expand on what we're doing and we don't make it go backwards.
That's good. Definitely good. All right. I know you're a reader. I know you're an avid reader. So let's talk about recommended reads. What have you read? What are you reading? What would you recommend that our listeners and those who are watching would read as well?
Let me put my glasses on. You know, you put my glasses on, make people think I'm smarter now. Okay, maybe should have started off with my glasses. Okay, start off with my glasses. I look real good. Like, oh man, he's smart. But no, one book that really helped me out in life, I tell everybody, it was called Chasing the Screams, and that's by Johann Hart.
Okay.
Um, the book really made me grow as a person. You know, there's some things you've been taught or what you think, and that book challenged those things, and it gave me a reason why. But also, the book was important and let me know that I have PTSD. I have trauma in my life, and I never really acknowledged that. But
Hmm.
the book pointed out some things that I was doing personally in my life that let me know I had trauma. So another one is David and Goliath by Malcolm Gladwell.
Uh huh.
We all know the Bible story about David and Goliath, but you need to read this book. Because sometimes we spend too much energy focusing on our weaknesses versus we just need to focus on our strength and be aware of your weakness. Okay? When you know your strength, that's where you should put your energy in. But be aware of your weakness.
Yeah.
Don't just be ignorant, but be aware that you know, hey, that's a weakness of mine. I can be better in it. But I'm really great when I focus on what I do the best.
Yeah.
And another one, Success Runs in Our Race. And that book was very important to me because when you start a business or when you start your podcast, you got to fight your mental images telling you what you're not going, how you may not succeed, what may go wrong, what's not right. And if once this all get right, I'm gonna do it. And the Success Runs in Our Race tells me that it's never gonna be perfect. You just got to go do it, and you have to learn to start speaking to yourself positively. You know,
Yeah.
there's no such thing as failure. There's just either you didn't do proper preparation. But even when things didn't go the way you want, you learned something. So it's not really a failure. A failure would be just nothing. So that book told me really to just, and I've opened many businesses, okay? Some of them been
Hmm.
successful, some of them have not been what I wanted. But this book taught me that. So, hey, man, and then they just keep pushing. Um, I got two more. The Prayer of Jabez. And the reason why it was a good book to tell me that I need to learn to pray for myself. Most times in life, you pray for everybody around you, but you don't really pray for yourself. And when
That's
I started
good.
praying for myself, you know, then it started getting better. I started having a better understanding. And the miseducation of the Negro. I did not want to read the book. I was past my time. I'm like, you know, why we got to read the book? And I read the book, and what I found out was what they were writing about back then, it still applies right now.
Still applicable today. My last guest had the same book on his list. So that's listen, that's the confirmation. I have read the book before, but that for me, I need to read it again. I need to go back and read it again. Okay, okay. Yeah, I see you got three books you're working on now, the ISIS papers.
Yeah, I'm working on ISIS paper because I'm just a reader. So I'm
Yeah,
really working on ISIS paper. That's what's the other two I told you I was working on? Let me tell it to you right quick. Okay, I got it right here. Uh, doing option trading for beginners. I listen to a lot. I'm not big. I listen to a lot of different things, but also I'm a reader. So I gotta hear it, then I gotta see it on paper. So I want to do
yeah,
option trading because you know there's there's multiple ways. Now the best thing about it is we have the internet. There's so many ways that we can make money. Okay,
right,
and
right.
you just because this way is working right now for you doesn't mean that you can't open your mind and find better ways. And I see you got Mark in the back, so I listen to them all the time. Uh, and the thing is, you know, I think he broke it down one time. He said, "Hey man, I'm an NBA vet, and you playing like little kids basketball. You're not gonna be as good as I am. So
Yeah,
understand that. So a lot of times we jump into something, we get mad real quick because we're not as great as we want to be. but it takes a lot of time to do that. It takes, to be an expert with 10,000 hours. But we jump
Listen,
into something and do it 10
gentlemen,
hours and be mad because we ain't got the success we want.
microwave. That's that microwave mentality. Microwave mentality. All right, music. What are you listening to? Any recommended music? What's on your playlist?
Well, I go everywhere. Right now, J. Cole just dropped another one, so I'm listening to J. Cole. Everybody laughing because I like the baby. I really like the baby. He funny to me, okay? So, but I like music. Anybody who can
Yeah,
tell a story. If you can tell a story, and I don't need that. I don't need know how much. I don't need know how much drugs you sold all the time. Because before you were selling drugs, there was something else going on in your life. So
yeah,
anybody can
yeah.
tell a story, whatever portrayal. But I need to know something about your pain. Your pain kind of, you know, and because if you're an artist, you're supposed to paint pictures. Or you're supposed to make a story.
That's right.
And
That's right.
everybody can't have the same story. Okay? All the guys now they selling drugs. I'm like, wasn't none of y'all small time? I mean, all y'all walked in being the big one. I ain't
They're
never
all
known that.
kingpin. Every rapper was a kingpin.
Yeah, everyone. And
All
I'm
right.
like, okay, that's good. But I'm like, so I'm listening to anybody, big Kendrick Lamar. I can, I got the old ones 3000, but I tell everybody, but you still got to balance your music. Okay,
Mhm.
what's that? Your words become your words become your thoughts, and your thoughts become your action. So I filter everything that comes in my brain. I really do. I can't watch too much anything. I can't listen too much anything. I can't listen to me love songs. Okay, if I listen to me love song, I'm out there trying to love everybody. Okay, because that's what I do. So you got to balance everything, and I believe in balance. Uh, Balancing your
Yeah,
music, balance your books.
yeah. I listen. You must have been listening to a lot of love music when you got to Northwestern.
Yes, I do. Hey man, hey, that's what you used to put a little cassette of CD on, and it was a different era then. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Ready or
yeah,
Not, you know what I'm saying? Johnny Gill,
yeah.
hey, and my daughters laugh every now, boy. I was like, ooh wee, you better glad your daddy got progress, okay? Uh, yeah, you
Oh
better
man,
glad
that's
I
good.
grew up now. Now I got three girls, so thank you, Lord.
That's good. That's good. Listen, hold 1 second, man. Y'all hold 1 second. My dog is in here. I don't know if you can hear him, but he getting on my nerves. So I'm gonna let him out this door real quick. Hold on.
Nah, that's fine.
All right, here we go. All right, we're gonna move into this next segment. This next segment is rapid fire and word association.
Okay.
All right, so I got 10 just random questions, and rapid fire because I just first thing that comes to your mind, I want you to go ahead and just spit it out, kind of like we freestyle. All right, you ready?
Hold on. We freestyle. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. We're gonna do this. Hold on now. All right, let's do this now. All right, now we can do this now.
All
Okay.
right, you ready? If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Superpower. I would go read minds.
Okay, why'd you pick that?
Because Professor X, he could read different things, different minds of folk. When you can read people's minds, you can strategize. You strategize different. That mean you can
Okay,
change them, but you can just put yourself in a different position to move around.
okay, okay. If you could change your name, what would you change it to?
I've already changed my name. My name is Frederico.
Freddie Rico.
Yes,
Okay,
I'm Espanol,
okay.
Dominicano.
See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I learned something new today. I've been knowing Freddie more than half my life.
Yeah, but
He's
Federico,
Dominican.
man, don't let him get
He's
started.
Dominican. All right. I saw you put the cap on. So, what percent chance do you have of being in a State Farm commercial?
Man, they won't put me in one. I'm like, remember Calvin back at McDonald's? Remember Calvin was working the fries? Then Calvin,
Yeah.
I said, man, I'm y'all Calvin, man. I talked to the marketing manager. I said, y'all need to put me on, but they won't.
Listen,
They
they
missing
need to
out.
know they need somebody who's adjusted the hood
I,
to be in the commercials.
they missing out.
All right.
I'm telling you.
They they are. All right. Favorite all-time book.
Favorite all time book. You know what makes me want to holler? I think it's the last name is McCall. It
Nathan
was
McCall.
just it was a real book. It wasn't that spectacular. He didn't jump over no trees or nothing. He was just a man going through life. He looked at different religions. He had drama from his baby mama. He had life. And at that time when I read that book, that's where I was in my life. So sometimes we need things just so we can relate to. I don't need he and you know he you don't you never really heard of him. He never got on this big speaking tour and all that kind of stuff. He was a regular person, and it was a regular book that I needed.
That's good. That's good. All right. Would you rather lose the ability to read or lose the ability to speak?
I take speak, and that's hard for me because I like to run my mouth. You know that I could talk for hours, but there's
So,
so many different ways we communicate. I could write, I could type, I could do all
okay.
those things. I just couldn't. I can't verbalize it. But if you can't read, you can't bring in that information. So that means everything you know right now is capped off. You not
Yeah.
bringing you ain't learning nothing, anything new. And man, I wouldn't want to live a life not learning, not to be, you know, not learning. Because I think that's what's keep you alive.
Yeah. All right. Netflix or YouTube?
I would go Netflix, and I don't do a lot of Netflix.
Okay. Okay.
But
All right.
I am terrible on YouTube. I'm probably the worst person on YouTube ever.
Okay. Man, I was in that category. But I work with kids.
Yes.
So one day a kid told me, he was like, we were just talking. This is one of my athletes. And we were talking. I was like, man, I want to put some speakers outside, yada, 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 whatever, whatever. Kid was like, yeah, coach, I can do that for you. I was like, oh, you got a job, just doing that? Is that what you do? He was like, nah, coach, YouTube.
Yeah.
And that was when I was like, you know what? I need to get on YouTube a little bit more. All right, here we go.
Now
Next
I
one.
will YouTube stuff. I understand it. I will do it. Now I'm at that point in my life. My time is more important than anything. So I weigh my time versus how much it's gonna cost me. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, here we go. Would you rather have all dogs try to attack you when they see you or all birds?
Shh. I'm gonna go dogs
Okay, why dogs?
because you still can see the dog coming. But them birds, man, they gonna hit you. Man, you see how people be running in parking lots from birds. Man, you see the dog. You gotta see the dog. He gonna come and some of them small. You can kick them. I know they don't want to hear that. Some of them big. But them birds, man, just imagine all them pigeons getting on you.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you know what? I'm with you on that one. I'm definitely with you on that one. All right. If you could be anything other than an insurance professional, what would it be?
I would probably want to be a motivational speaker.
I can see that. I could definitely see that. Definitely see that. All right, two more. Two more rapid fire questions, then we're gonna go to word association. If you had to sum up the human species in 3 words, what would it be? 3 words to describe the human race.
Evolving, um, smart, lazy.
Wow, that's good. That's a crazy combination, but I think that's accurate. All right, last one. If you had a boat, well, first let me say this: do you have a boat? Do you own a boat?
No, I can't swim.
Okay,
I'm keeping the stereotype going.
but if you had a boat that you were gonna stay in, what would you name it?
I probably name it. It'll probably name Shirley. It'll be named after my mom.
Okay, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, that wraps up rapid fire. Now we got word association. I got 6 terms.
Okay.
6 terms. All right, you ready? Here we go. The first term, insurance.
Needed.
Wall Street.
Easy money. Oh, yeah, easy money.
Okay. The Duke Blue Devils.
All time greatest.
Fatherhood.
uh, uh, the best thing in humility.
Okay.
Being a father makes you humble.
Okay. Uh, reparations.
Um, do never be
Okay.
paid, but do.
Okay. Okay. DUE.
Do I eat?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm saying DUE. DUE. Do.
Yeah, they do. They're
But
due.
yeah,
But
for
yeah,
everybody
but
that's
they
listening.
just the climate we're in right now, until you could atone, and America never wants to atone for its past. So until you can atone for your past, you can't go forward. So we're gonna constantly be in this struggle.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, America's always get reparations. They, when you read, you know this.
When
They
you
pay
read, you
people to
know.
move west.
That's right. When you read, you know. That's
but
right. That's right.
but they do this little shell game with us. And at the end time, even when we don't ask for reparation, we do well. They take it from you. That's why we
Yep.
celebrating Black Wall Street.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's
them
right.
folks,
That's
them
right.
folks
That's
ain't
right.
asking reparation. Now they talking about, well, no, it wasn't a travesty. You did it intentionally. Okay,
Yep. Yep. All right. Last term. Gulf War.
Gulf War. Uh, I would put experience on there, but I got to add something else to it. Great experience for me, but I'm gonna let people know I don't believe in really. I really don't really believe in war. I
Yeah.
really don't. And so when I think about the Gulf War, it was a great experience because I learned something at a young age. But sometimes we need to stay out of other people's business. You got 10 home. And
Yeah.
not saying that we can't help other people, but what we accuse other people of doing, we're doing ourselves here.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't want to hear that.
No, they don't.
A lot
And
of
they
people
think
don't
when you
want to hear.
criticize it, you're unpatriotic. And that's probably not a more patriotic person than me. Uh, because I've loved this country. I've given this country. Uh, and this country has not really reciprocated the same thing to me. But that doesn't mean I don't love it. But I also can criticize. You know,
Yeah.
everybody, if you know me, I talk fast. My words gonna run together. So I don't mind the criticism. That doesn't mean when you tell me that you're making me better. Doesn't mean you don't love
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. All right. This next segment is called You Didn't Ask. This is when you get the opportunity to give advice that nobody asked for, but you're going to give it to them anyway. So, what do you have for this segment entitled You Didn't Ask?
me. You didn't ask. Let me think about that. I haven't thought about that. You didn't ask how the heck I got all these dang girls. Okay, no, I'm messing with you. Somebody need to tell me how to make these boys, but I'm out the game now. Okay, but somebody should didn't ask her how to get these girls. Okay, uh, I would probably say uh, didn't ask about really being a father of three girls and their emotional needs. As a father, you know, for girls especially, and not say boys don't need the needs too, but for girls, they've taught me so much about me. Uh, I want the world to go my way. I think it should be my way. uh, but they taught me emotional balance. My words are very impactful to them. So if I call them big head, that's gonna hurt them probably more because that's their daddy calling them that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me see.
Okay.
You didn't ask. I would probably say we skipped over it, but you didn't ask about really how to deal with dysfunctional families. Because as I'm talking about, my family, they know I'm hard on them. But we call them dysfunctional, but we're dealing with people.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're dealing with people who don't, the thing about most times we want people to operate the way we want to operate. Versus you got to learn to accept people as who they are. And you have to learn to love them at their spots. Just because they're not on
Yeah.
your wavelength, or we're not with it now. not where you want to be. Don't mean they can't be loved, and don't mean they don't bring some joy and something good to the world. But sometimes we get so focused on telling them what they're not versus just accept them as who they are.
That's good. That's good stuff. All right. I used to end on you didn't ask, but you know, black folks don't never leave the first time. So, last words, what you got for us?
I would say if you wherever you want to be in life, surround yourself with good people. One of the best things I would tell everybody, I was fortunate enough to join the fraternity, Mega Psi Phi fraternity. And that put me in contact with so many positive, uplifting, and smart brothers. Which if you're any competitor, you ain't competing with them, but you're gonna rise up because you don't want to be the slacker. Okay?
That's it.
Um, and so that is always that is no passionate about it, love the bros. But I tell everybody, surround yourself with good people, not no yes people that's gonna tell you right. Surround around some people gonna tell you, hey man, you stupid. Because you need to hear that sometimes in life.
There it is. You have been listening to, or maybe you're out there watching, The Network with Michael Prejean. This is my attempt at creating a modern podcast version of the Negro Motorist Green Book. With each interview, we are bringing and building a network of talented black professionals. Every episode is designed to improve the physical, mental, spiritual, and financial health of black people traveling in and through America. I'm Michael Prejean. You just heard from Freddie Noble. Until next time, peace.
Peace. Thank you.